Do you know what acrophobia and glossophobia means? I mean, these unique, strange, and big English words actually describe the fear that people face around the world. It's me, Sumul Rizvi, an English language fluency expert, and welcome back to my channel, Hytham Academy. And today I'm going to provide you 25 phobias in English language that people face. For you, they may be very weird or quite unusual, but people do face it. But first we need to understand that what do we mean by phobia? So phobia comes from a Greek word phobos, which means fear. Now phobia isn't just about a simple fear, but it is intense or irrational fear that people can experience related to some certain things or some certain situations. So let's dive in because today I'm going to provide you 25 different phobias in English language. Because in this way you would be able to learn some unusual and different English vocabularies too. Acrophobia. Acrophobia means fear of height. So people with acrophobia may feel dizzy or panic whenever they are on the balcony or on the tall building. And if I say that I have acrophobia, so that wouldn't be wrong because I can't see down whenever I'm on the balcony. Arachnophobia. Please practice the pronunciation with me. Arachnophobia. So this fear means the fear of spiders. Yes, people have this fear and they are afraid of even these tiny spiders and they feel that these tiny spiders can actually harm them. So the fear of spiders is arachnophobia. Claustrophobia. Claustrophobia. Now claustrophobia means the fear of confined spaces. So people with claustrophobia cannot even use elevators, they cannot sit in a small room, even they cannot go through tunnels because all these small places can actually trigger their fear of being confined in these places. So claustrophobia is actually the fear of confined spaces. Agoraphobia. Agoraphobia. Agoraphobia means the fear of open or crowded places. And it's not just about crowded places, but usually people believe that any area where they cannot leave that particular area easily, this means that they have some kind of fear. Like for example, if God forbid anything happens, so if they cannot leave any particular place or any area very easily, so it means that they have this phobia, agoraphobia. So people with this phobia cannot be in the crowded places and they cannot visit any open areas as well where they believe that they cannot escape from easily. So the phobia is agoraphobia. Ophidiophobia. Ophidiophobia. Yes, this is the correct pronunciation. Ophidiophobia. And it is the fear of snakes. Yes, because usually snakes freaks a lot of people out and even seeing them on television can be enough. So people with this phobia cannot even see any snake. Cynophobia. Cynophobia. It is the fear of dogs. Yes, even those small puppies can actually scare some people. But usually people with cynophobia have this fear because of their old or past bad experiences. Like I personally know someone and he is in my relatives and whenever he sees even a small puppy too, he screams out of fear. So usually people have cynophobia because of their old or past experiences. Astrophobia. Astrophobia. And it is the fear of thunder and lightning. Because the storms can be cozy for some people, but for some people they can be really scary. Because whenever they hear the sound of thunder or lightning, so they go inside their blankets and they don't want to come back. So this is the real fear and it is called astrophobia. Trypanophobia. Trypanophobia. Headshots? No worries, you are not alone. Because people with trypanophobia may completely avoid doctors because they are scared of injections and that's why they cannot get their vaccines or their blood tests done too because they are afraid of injections. So this particular fear is called trypanophobia. Mysophobia. Mysophobia. Now this is the fear of germs and this particular fear actually became very common during pandemic. I still remember that I used to wash each and everything, even a simple polythene too, during pandemic whenever I used to get something from outside. So usually this particular fear can lead to obsessive cleaning. And usually who have this fear, they often wash their hands a lot and they avoid touching anything public. Nyctophobia. Nyctophobia. And it is the fear of dark. And usually it is not just the fear of dark, but it is the fear of what's or who's actually hiding in that dark. So I had it, but now alhamdulillah I have overcome it, and usually kids have it. But when we talk about adults, so adults can also have this fear, and this could be really intense because it can cause them real troubles. Nyctophobia, fear of dark or what's hiding in it. Aorophobia, fear of flying. Yes, so people with aerophobia cannot even enjoy their flight because they feel really trapped or anxious. Planes can be really overwhelming for some people. Like takeoffs, they can be overwhelming for some people because they have this phobia. Thanatophobia. Thanatophobia. And it is the fear of death or the process of dying, or maybe the pain of losing loved ones. So this one is heavy, but this is true, this is real, that thanatophobia means the fear of death. Glossophobia. This one is the most commonly widely known fear by the people around the world, and this one is the fear of speaking publicly with people. Yes, public speaking. This is one of the most common fear that people have because it can be even more scarier than scuba diving. So people consider it is such a big deal that whenever they think of talking with a group of people or number of people, so they feel really scary. Entomophobia, and this is the fear of insects. And why am I laughing? Because I have this phobia, entomophobia. Because before sleeping, I always check my bed. And this is the fear of insects. Right now, we are not talking about just the spiders because it has a separate name. But this is the phobia that we may have related to any insect. That could be ants, that could be cockroaches, that could be flies, anything, any insect. So I have this phobia and I unapologetically accept it, and that yes, I do have this phobia and I always check my bed before sleeping. Hydrophobia. It means the fear of water. Usually people with hydrophobia cannot even sit beside pools, lakes, or they cannot even imagine of bathtubs too. But this particular phobia can be linked with their past traumas or with their deep water fears too. And if I talk about medically, so medical term rabies can be linked with this particular phobia. Hydrophobia, fear of water. Social phobia. So as the name suggests, social phobia, so it means that people with this particular phobia avoid attending or going to parties, and they do not want to meet many people. In fact, they do not want to meet people. And it is not because of the shyness, but it is beyond the shyness. Because people with this social phobia often think that other people may judge them or they would be embarrassed as a result. So that's why they avoid meeting people. And this is called social phobia. Acrophobia. Acrophobia. Fear of failure. Usually this fear holds people back from trying out new and different things, like applying for a job, starting a new business, or even asking someone for a coffee outside. It can also scare them because according to them their offer would be turned out or it would be rejected. So that's why they do not try new things, or we can say that people do not chase their dreams out of this particular fear. Acrophobia. Hematophobia. Fear of blood, real or fake. In either of the case, it can be really terrifying for some people because they are afraid of blood. No matter if they are watching a film, any movie, or if there is a scene in which they can see blood, so it can also scare them, and that could be really terrifying for them. They can feel dizzy. In fact, they can faint too just by watching a scene in the film. Just imagine that how much intense this situation could be for them. So this particular fear, the fear of blood, is called hematophobia. Ecophobia. Now this is the fear of home environment. Usually this particular fear is linked with any particular appliance or any furniture, or usually people are afraid of electricity too, that anything could happen anytime. So whenever people are afraid of some certain objects at their home, any furniture, any object, any room, even the electricity too, so this particular fear is called ecophobia. Anthophobia. It means the fear of flowers. Now, it may look quite weird and unusual for some people, but for some people, the smell, the overall look, in fact, the allergies that usually flowers can carry, people are afraid of those things, and that's why they have this particular fear, Anthophobia, which means the fear of flowers. Nomophobia. So it is the fear of being without your mobile phone. So please raise your hand if you have freaked out when you actually left your phone at your home. So this is the modern fear. So because this is the modern world, welcome to the modern era. So this is basically the fear that people usually have because they have this fear that they might lose their online or virtual connections. So I can say this too, that yes, I do have this fear, nomophobia. Chronophobia. Chronophobia. So it is the fear of time. Usually people who have this fear, they are afraid that how quickly they are getting aged or they are getting older, or how quickly time is actually running out of their hands. So it is actually quite deep, but people who have this fear, they are always anxious about that they are getting older day by day, or they are getting aged, or like time is actually flying like very quickly. So people who have this fear, chronophobia, they have the fear of time, or that how quickly time is actually flying. Aorophobia. Aorophobia. So this is the fear of work. And let me tell you that this isn't about laziness, but people with this phobia actually feel really terrified even with the idea of going to work or facing job responsibilities or working with their colleagues. So the idea of going to work can actually make them really, really, really terrified. And this isn't about laziness, that because they are lazy, that's why they don't want to go to work. No, it's not like that. So agoraphobia is actually the fear of work. Athazagoraphobia. Athazagoraphobia. Oh my god, I just love the pronunciation of this word. Athazagoraphobia. So this is the fear of being forgotten or of being ignored. Now this one is quite deep or emotional one, but people usually have this fear if they really love someone or if they really care about someone. So they usually feel or they usually have this fear that the other person that they really care for or they really care about, they might forget them or they might ignore them. So this is the fear that usually people have, and majority of the people, they usually have this fear that they might be ignored by their loved ones. So this is the fear. Athazagoraphobia. Phobophobia. Phobophobia. So it means that this is the fear that usually people have, that they can be afraid of anything or anything can scare them. So phobophobia is basically the fear of being afraid of anything. So this is quite confusing, quite perplexing, but that's the mind for you. So do let me know in the comment section that which one according to you was the most unusual one and what was your favorite one. But on a serious note, if I talk seriously, so phobias can be really, really, really terrified for some people, and we need to understand their situation as well. I have heard, I've seen so many people, and they actually make fun of other people and their phobias, and they usually pass comments like, like he's just overreacting, or like they sometimes bully other people as well because they are suffering from these phobias. So we need to learn some basic ethics, and we need to be empathetic towards people. So if you are suffering from any of these phobias, so you are not alone and you may seek help, because there are some therapies and some support systems too that actually work. So that's all for today, guys. I hope you found this video really helpful, and share this with someone who actually needs to hear this. Thanks for watching this video, and stay hooked for more.